nomine Justitia lodemus te, Gratian Emperor divine, in your name we forever shine. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, in nomine Justitia lodemus te, Gratian Emperor divine, in your name we forever shine.
Have you ever heard of Emperor Gratian? I doubt it. Yet my life and reign, filled with trials, triumphs and tragedies, shaped the destiny of the Roman Empire in ways few could have foreseen. As I stand before you today, imagine me not as an ancient emperor, but as a friend sharing the tale of my life, a life that began humbly and ended abruptly, yet left an indelible mark on history. Greetings, fellow seekers of history and knowledge. Today, let me introduce myself. I am Gratian, a Roman emperor who ruled during the 4th century AD, a time fraught with political turmoil and relentless military challenges. Born in 359 AD in the bustling city of Sirmium in Pannonia, now known as Sremska Mitrovica in Serbia, I was thrust into a world of power and responsibility from a tender age. My father, Valentinian I, was a formidable emperor, and my uncle, Valens, shared the burden of ruling our vast empire. My early life was a delicate balance of education and preparation for the heavy crown I was destined to wear. As a young boy, I often found myself caught in the crossfire of military strategies and political debates. The Roman Empire was a colossal entity, stretching its arms across vast territories, each with its own set of challenges. The external threats were ever present, with barbarian tribes pressing at our borders and internal strife threatening to tear us apart from within. My education was rigorous, entrusted to the esteemed poet and scholar Ausonius, who served as my tutor and later as my praetorian prefect. Under his guidance, I was molded not just as a ruler, but as a man of intellect and virtue. Yet the shadow of the throne loomed large over my childhood. Despite my youth, I often dined with my father and uncle, where discussions of military battles, politics, and strategy stretched into the wee hours of the morning. Those were times of learning and bonding, moments that strengthened my resolve for the trials ahead. My ascent to power was swift and, some might say, premature. At the tender age of 8, I was proclaimed Augustus, a co-ruler by my father. This move was meant to ensure a peaceful succession, but it also thrust me into a world of ceaseless demands and expectations. My father sought to shield me from the harsher realities of power, but destiny had other plans. As you journey with me through this tale, you will witness the rise and fall of a young emperor striving to hold his realm together. You will see the weight of decisions that shaped my reign, the battles that tested my courage, and the faith that guided my actions. You will also witness the bitter end that befell me, and the legacy I left behind, a legacy both contested and celebrated. In our next meeting, we will delve into my ascension to the throne. You will see how the mantle of power was thrust upon my shoulders and how I navigated the early days of my reign amidst the echoes of my father's formidable legacy. The story of an emperor, a son, and a leader awaits you. By the time I was 8, the course of my life had already been set on a path few could imagine. My father, Valentinian I, had elevated me to the rank of Augustus in 367 AD, ensuring that I was recognized as his co-ruler. It was a strategic move to secure the line of succession, yet it marked the beginning of my tumultuous reign. Have you ever wondered what it's like to bear the weight of an empire at such a tender age? My story is one of early responsibility, strategic alliances, and the unyielding pressure of living up to a legacy. The Roman Empire in the 4th century AD was a vast and complex entity. The mantle of power was heavy, and my father's expectations were as lofty as the empire's reach. I remember the day vividly when my father placed the imperial diadem on my head. The cool weight of it pressed into my scalp, a tangible reminder of the responsibilities now resting on my young shoulders. Ruling an empire is no small feat, especially when you're thrust into power as a child. My father was a powerful and determined leader, and his shadow loomed large over me. As Augustus, I was expected to learn quickly, to understand the intricacies of governance, and to prepare for a future where I would one day rule alone. The challenges were immediate and relentless, from internal politics to external threats. One of the most significant influences in my life during this time was my tutor, Ausonius. He was not just a teacher, but a guiding light, instilling in me the values of leadership and wisdom. Under his mentorship, I learned about philosophy, history, and the art of governance. Yet our lessons were often interrupted by the urgent demands of statecraft. Even as a child, I was involved in the affairs of the empire. My father, my uncle Valens, and I would often dine together, discussing military tactics and political strategies late into the night. Those were formative moments, filled with the clink of goblets and the murmur of serious conversation. My father's stern gaze would settle on me, a silent reminder that one day the fate of Rome would rest in my hands. The turning point came in 375 AD, when my father suddenly passed away. I was just 16, and the full weight of the Western Roman Empire now fell upon me. It was a time of great uncertainty and peril. My father's death left a void that was not easily filled. The troops in Aquincum proclaimed my 4-year-old half-brother Valentinian II as emperor, complicating the power dynamics further. I had to step up, not just as a ruler, but as a protector and guide for my young brother. With the death of my father, I had to navigate a sea of challenges, both external and internal. The tribes across the Rhine were growing bolder, and the internal politics of the empire were as treacherous as ever. I was young, but I was determined to prove myself worthy of the title of Augustus. I had to forge alliances, manage the administration, and prepare for the inevitable conflicts that lay ahead. In the next part of our journey, we will delve into the heart of my reign. You will witness my attempts to hold the empire together, the battles I fought, and the reforms I implemented. The challenges were immense, but so were the opportunities. Join me as we explore the triumphs and tribulations of my rule and the decisions that would shape the future of Rome. The story of Gratian is far from over. Stay with me as we uncover the events that defined my reign, from military campaigns to religious reforms. The path ahead is fraught with danger and intrigue, but it is a journey worth taking. From the moment I ascended the throne, the challenges were immediate and relentless. My father's sudden death had left a vacuum of power, and it fell upon my shoulders to fill it. As the sole ruler of the Western Roman Empire, I had to prove my worth not just to myself, but to my people and my enemies. My reign was a delicate balancing act of military might, political acumen, and religious reform. Imagine being a young emperor, tasked with holding an empire together amidst constant threats and internal strife. This was my reality, and my story is one of perseverance, strategic brilliance, and sometimes hard-fought battles. The year was 375 AD, and I was thrust into the forefront of history. The Western Roman Empire was vast, stretching from the forests of Germania to the deserts of Africa. Each region had its own challenges, and I had to navigate them all. My first priority was to secure the borders and ensure the loyalty of my troops. The tribes across the Rhine, particularly the Alemanni and the Goths, were becoming bolder, and I had to respond decisively. The challenges of my reign were numerous. I faced external threats from barbarian tribes and internal dissension among my own ranks. The memory of my father's strength was a constant reminder of the expectations placed upon me. I had to be strong, strategic, and sometimes ruthless. The weight of the empire was heavy, but I was determined to carry it. One of the first significant military campaigns of my reign was against the Alemanni. In 378 AD, I led my forces into battle, determined to repel their incursions into Roman territory. It was a hard-fought campaign, but ultimately we were victorious. This victory was crucial, not just for the security of the empire, but for my own legitimacy as a ruler. The soldiers needed to see me as a capable leader, and this battle proved my mettle. However, not all battles were fought with swords and shields. Some were fought in the halls of power. My reign was marked by significant religious reforms, heavily influenced by the great Bishop Ambrose. I was deeply committed to Christianity, and under Ambrose's guidance, I took bold steps to align the empire more closely with the Church. This included removing the pagan statue of Victory from the Senate in Rome, a move that sparked significant controversy but underscored my dedication to the Christian faith. One of the key moments of my reign came in 379 AD. The Battle of Adrianople had been a disastrous defeat for the Eastern Roman Empire, and my uncle Valens had perished in the conflict. To stabilize the situation, I appointed Theodosius as the Emperor of the East. This decision was not made lightly. Theodosius was a capable general and a devout Christian, and I believed he was the right man to restore order in the East. This move not only strengthened our defenses, but also solidified the alliance between the two halves of the empire. Despite these successes, the later years of my reign were marred by challenges. In 383 AD, a usurper named Magnus Maximus was proclaimed emperor by the troops in Britain. I had to confront this threat head-on. As I moved my forces to intercept Maximus in Gaul, I was betrayed by my own troops. Deserted and outnumbered, I sought to escape beyond the Alps, but fate had other plans. Next, we will delve into the dramatic and tragic end of my life. You will see how betrayal and political machinations led to my untimely death and the impact it had on the empire. My story is one of highs and lows, victories and defeats, and ultimately an abrupt and violent end. As my reign progressed, the challenges only grew more daunting. From the triumphs on the battlefield to the political maneuvers in the Senate, each day was a testament to the complexities of ruling an empire. But as with all stories, mine had to come to an end, a tragic and unforeseen end that would change the course of Roman history. Have you ever considered how quickly fortunes can change? One moment, you are an emperor commanding legions. The next, you are a fugitive, betrayed and hunted. This is the story of my final days. The year was 383 AD, and my empire was teetering on the brink of chaos. Despite my efforts to strengthen our borders and unify the empire under a single faith, internal strife and external threats loomed large. The most pressing of these threats came from within. Magnus Maximus, a commander in Britain, had declared himself emperor. His audacity and the subsequent support he garnered from the troops posed a direct challenge to my authority. The rise of Magnus Maximus was a pivotal moment. My authority was being questioned, and the loyalty of my troops was wavering. I knew that to preserve the integrity of the empire, I had to confront this usurper. But the stakes were high, and the loyalty I had counted on began to crumble. My trust in my generals and soldiers was about to be severely tested. As I marched my forces to Gaul to face Maximus, I could sense the tension in the air. The soldiers whispered among themselves, their loyalty swaying like reeds in the wind. The march was arduous, and every step seemed to echo with uncertainty. The memory of my father's unwavering strength spurred me on, but I couldn't shake the feeling that betrayal was close at hand. My fears were realized when we reached Lugdunum, modern-day Lyon, France. Instead of standing with me against Maximus, my troops deserted me. The sting of betrayal was sharp and immediate. Left with no choice, I fled, hoping to find refuge beyond the Alps. But fate was not kind. The treachery of my once loyal men followed me, and I was captured by Andragathius, the Magister Equitum, commander of cavalry under Maximus. The key moment came swiftly and brutally. Andragathius, having cornered me, offered no mercy. In August 383 AD, in the city of Lugdunum, I met my end. I was murdered, a victim of political ambition and betrayal. The once bright future of an empire united under my rule was extinguished in a heartbeat. My death was not a heroic end on the battlefield, but a treacherous murder, a grim reminder of the fragile nature of power. As I lay dying, thoughts of my father, my uncle Valens, and my young half-brother Valentinian II flooded my mind. The dreams we had for a unified and strong empire seemed to slip away with each passing moment. My story, which began with such promise, ended in betrayal and bloodshed. If my tragic end has piqued your interest, there is more to uncover. My reign, though brief and turbulent, left a lasting mark on the Roman Empire. From my military campaigns to my religious reforms, the impact of my decisions rippled through history, influencing the fate of Rome and the course of Western civilization. Now, let us explore the legacy I left behind and how my life shaped the world I departed. Have you ever wondered how a ruler's decisions can echo through the ages? My legacy is a testament to the enduring influence of leadership, for better or worse. The year of my death, 383 AD, marked a turning point for the Roman Empire. The immediate aftermath was chaos, but the seeds I planted during my reign began to take root. My policies, both celebrated and contested, shaped the empire's future in ways I could scarcely have imagined. One of the most significant aspects of my legacy was my relationship with Christianity. Influenced by Bishop Ambrose, I was the first Roman emperor to omit the title Pontifex Maximus, signaling a clear shift from pagan traditions to a Christianized state. This decision was controversial and met with resistance, but it set a precedent for future emperors. My removal of the pagan statue of victory from the Senate in Rome was a bold move that symbolized the growing influence of Christianity. Though it sparked outrage among traditionalists, it reinforced my commitment to the Christian faith. This act, among others, helped pave the way for the Christianization of the Roman Empire, a transformation that would have profound effects on European history. Another key aspect of my legacy was my military leadership. My victory over the Alemanni showcased my capabilities as a commander, and my appointment of Theodosius as the Emperor of the East demonstrated my strategic foresight. Theodosius would go on to play a crucial role in the empire, eventually becoming the sole ruler of both the Eastern and Western Roman empires. The most pivotal moment in shaping my legacy was my confrontation with Magnus Maximus. My untimely death at his hands was a turning point, highlighting the fragile nature of imperial power and the ever-present threat of usurpation. Despite the tragic end, my reign set the stage for significant developments, including Theodosius's rise to power and the continued evolution of the empire. As we look ahead, we will explore the broader implications of my legacy. The changes I enacted, both in religion and governance, would resonate through the centuries, influencing the fall of Rome and the rise of medieval Europe. My story is but one chapter in the grand narrative of history, a chapter filled with lessons on leadership, faith, and the ever-changing tides of power. As our journey through my life draws to a close, I invite you to reflect on the lessons we've uncovered. The story of Gratian is one of ambition, determination, and the enduring impact of leadership. Now, let's conclude with some practical ways to connect with the past and live the Renaissance spirit. For those inspired by my story, visiting the historical sites of my life can be a profound experience. Start your journey in Sremska Mitrovica, Serbia, the modern-day location of ancient Sirmium, where I was born. Explore the remnants of this once great city, imagining the bustling streets and grand structures that stood in my time. Next, travel to Lyon, France, where I met my tragic end. The city's rich history and vibrant culture offer a glimpse into the past, allowing you to walk in the footsteps of Roman emperors and experience the echoes of history. For those interested in a tangible connection to the past, consider coin collecting. Look for coins bearing my image or inscriptions, as they provide insights into the art, culture, and economy of the Roman Empire during my rule. This is a solid gold coin, known as a Solidus, from the time of my father, Emperor Valentinian I. It was minted between AD 364 and 375, specifically in the year 370 in the city of Trier, which was an important center of Roman administration. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features a detailed bust of Valentinian. He's shown wearing a pearl diadem, a type of crown, and a cuirass, a piece of armor covering the torso. What's particularly striking is the helmet he wears, which is beautifully decorated with 4 stars. In his hand, he holds a spear and shield, giving a sense of his military strength and leadership. Now, turning to the back of the coin, or the reverse, we see a powerful image of both Valentinian and me, seated on thrones, facing forward. We hold a globe between us, symbolizing our shared dominion over the Roman Empire. Above us, victory, personified as a winged figure, flies to the left, crowning each emperor with a wreath. There's also a palm frond between us, signifying peace and victory. This coin is in extremely fine condition, meaning it has very little wear and retains most of its original details. It does have a few small hard deposits, but these do not detract from its overall beauty and historical significance. Such coins are quite rare, making this a potentially valuable addition to any collection. Thank you for joining me on this journey through my life and reign. Our channel, known as the Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Video topics encompass areas including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and other topics of liberal arts and sciences, including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast to the modern world. These topics are perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age and the pursuit of knowledge, both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason. Embracing truth, knowledge, and understanding and compassion for humanity and our shared history opens up the world to each of us individually and improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other. The Renaissance spirit is more than just a philosophy or style. It's a way of living, learning, growing, and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience what life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on my channel. Please peruse and let me know in the comments what you get out of them and what other videos you'd like to see. But first, please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit. Live the Renaissance spirit. The story of Gratian, filled with ambition, triumphs, and tragedies, is a testament to the complexities of leadership and the enduring impact of one's legacy. I hope my story has inspired you to explore the rich history of Rome and embrace the Renaissance spirit in your own life. Thank you for watching, and until next time, my friends. And now, our music video titled, Gratian's Triumph We Forever Shine.
Nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, Nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Regem Lume Gratianus nomen, virtutem et potentiam ducit, in aeternum laudemus eum, gubernans terras cum sapientia. Born of Rome in the empire's heart, Gratian rises guided by noble art, leading with valor and wisdom's light. He shapes our world with justice bright. Born of Rome in the empire's heart, Gratian rises guided by noble art, leading with valor and wisdom's light. He shapes our world with justice bright. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, Nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Imitibus dux, miles fortis victrix virtus hostes superat, pax et prosperitas in imperium. Sub Gratiano, omnia florent. Soldiers, leader, courage bold, victory's banner foes behold. Peace and prosperity he does bring, under Gratiano flourish and sing. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, Nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Mutantur, sed laus tua manet, in aeternum Gratiane regnas. Times may change, but your praise endures. Forever Gratian, your reign ensures. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, in nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, in nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Regem Rome, Gratianus nomen, virtutem et potentiam ducit, in aeternum laudemus eum, gubernans terras cum sapientia. Born of Rome, in the empire's heart, Gratian rises guided by noble art, leading with valor and wisdom's light. He shapes our world with justice bright. Gratianus Princeps Magnus, in nomine Justitiae Lodemus Te, Gratian Emperor Divine, in your name we forever shine. Fortis victrix virtus hostes superat, pax et prosperitas in imperium. of Rome in the empire's heart. Gratian rises guided by noble art, leading with valor and wisdom's light. He shapes our world with justice bright. Gratianus princeps magnus, in nomine justitia lobemus te. Gratian emperor divine, in your name we forever shine. Gratianus princeps magnus, in nomine justitia lobemus te. Gratian emperor divine, in your name we forever shine. Regem Romae Gratianus nomen virtutem et potentiam docet, in aeternum laudemus eum governans terras cum sapientiam of Rome in the empire's heart. Gratian rises guided by noble art, leading with valor and wisdom's light. He shapes our world with justice bright. Gratianus princeps magnus, in nomine justitia lobemus te. Gratian emperor divine, in your name we forever shine. Born of Rome in the empire's heart, Gratian rises guided by noble art, leading with valor and wisdom's light. He shapes our world with justice bright. Gratianus princeps magnus, in nomine justitia lobemus te. Gratian emperor divine, in your name we forever shine. Nomine justitia lobemus te. Gratian emperor divine, in your name we forever shine. Gratianus princeps magnus, in nomine justitia lobemus te. Gratian emperor divine, in your name we forever shine.